acquired Vaculot, which is now Europe's largest independent retreader, although people thought I was crazy. A lot of people did. My own colleagues in Genesis thought I was crazy. Why invest in a declining industry, or industry under pressure, as you say, in an old school company, 50 miles left in the middle of nowhere, which really is Grantham, trust me, and a place that overwhelmingly voted for Brexit, where they want to get rid of all the foreigners. Well, like, look at you. What the hell are you doing? But anyway, and David, asked me to give this keynote speech, and pretty much he was thinking the same thing, but he was too polite. So he said, "What's your rationale?" Right? But basically, that's what he was thinking, right? So, people know me from Genesis, where we develop innovative concepts. We've disrupted the tire industry with Partisan. We have the Guinness World Record for the most expensive tires sold in the world. We've done some fun stuff, and it's kind of like, well, what are you doing? You're doing technology stuff. We've got a technology center in Spain, and now this. So the easiest way for me to answer this question is to kind of use this platform to launch our new logo and our new corporate identity. Technology is limited. The logo behind me is going to be our new modern logo, which is focused on the future. So what does this change of name imply for Vaculot, and how does it answer these questions that people are politely wondering about, or less politely wondering about? So we're changing the name of Vaculot to Vaculot Technologies because we want to send a clear signal on where we see the business going. We see the future of the business in developing and using technologies to provide better solutions for our customers. We manufacture retreads, absolutely. We're Europe's largest independent retreader, but we are so much more than that. We're a customer-focused organization that focuses on tire fleet management and everything else that entails, and can easily, with our relationships, build into fleet management. And this is where I see the future of retreading, why I've invested in a old school retreading business, right? Where it is not an old school retreading business. It is a tire fleet management business that is growing significantly. So, people say you invest in a declining industry. Well, actually, our production is going up every day simply because our lovely friends in the EU decided to, put some tariffs on my very good friends in China. So I'm conflicted in one respect, but hey, as long as I make money, I don't care. So the industry is not declining, and I do believe the tariffs have helped the retreading industry quite a bit. Hello. We invested a huge amount right now to kind of, focus on developing that fleet management side of the business. And if you want to provide an effective solution for tire fleet management, you cannot do it without a retreading policy. It's just not possible. So if you want to do fleet management, owning Europe's largest independent retreader pretty much helps. So now, look at the technology side. Vaculot Technology is limited. Okay, great. I'm going to set up another app. I'm going to set up another, platform or whatever. And that's fine. And technology is very much in that, and we have invested significantly in upgrading our VMS app. We can tell you on any one of our fleets, every single tire, where it is, when it's changed, on an app for every single fleet manager. We've also, invested heavily in TPMS, cloud-based solution with our partners, and we believe it's one of the best in the industry today. We can tell you tire pressure anywhere in the world on any tire, any wheel position, any of our fleets that subscribe to our TPMS platform. So we're doing all that, and that is, I think, the future. You have to have technology. You have to have the right technology to provide the right solution. Now, our app, actually, without naming names, I don't know if I can or not. I never signed a confidentiality, but the top 3 of the top 10 tire companies in the world use our VMS app to provide solutions to their fleets. We have companies in Malaysia now that are approaching us to use our app to provide solutions for their fleets. So, that is, for me, great, but you don't have the fundamental background with the retread. You can't do any of this stuff because you can't run the policies. You can build apps and do all these things, but the basis is the retreading part of the business. Now, I just want to remind all of you that, before I took over, Vaculot was still pretty innovative in technology. And technology is not just the apps. Technology is also retreading technology. We're the only company in the world today that still does 12-segment molds for truck tires. We focus on aircraft retreading technology, and we created 12-segment molds that focuses on reducing rolling resistance, producing a better tire for us. We are now working with our partners in mold manufacturing to come up with 24-segment molds, which will be, again, the first in the industry. The other day I was working on the factory, and I noticed that we created special thermal insulation to cover our presses. and keep the heat in. And apparently they work so well that we've been selling them to two of the top 3 tire companies in the world, one American and one French. If you can't figure that out, really should be in this room. But my problem is, being the typical entrepreneur, I looked around and said, so we created this and now I have to pay heating bills in the winter because the heat's not being generated off the presses. But there's this good and bad. The other part that was very important to me for acquiring Vaculug and was very important as a retreader, and I think is very important for the future of the retreading industry, is the environment. And Vaculug does a lot to save the environment and will do continue a lot more. It's a very important part of my DNA as a family, as a business, that we want to save the environment. I think the future, we have to protect it. I mean, you just can't, there's no other choice anymore, right? I mean, climate change is here, and you can be Mr. Trump or you can be someone sensible and focus on the climate change. And so we work with our partner Murfitts Industries to ensure that every single tire, we have traceability, where it's recycled, it's converted into the playing fields or used in the tire manufacturing process. But we're also encouraging it with our fleets. So we have carbon calculators to ensure that clients can see the impact of saving the environment. So they can use that. I mean, it's great marketing, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's fantastic marketing to go to your client and say, listen, we save you this. We process 240,000 casings a year, multiply that by 75 liters, with 4 million liters of oil that we save. That to me is much more important than making an extra £1 million in our balance sheet. We're now looking at processing with our partners how we can implement new pyrolysis technologies to build a recycling plant on our site. Now, this is the advantage of being 50 miles in the middle of nowhere. I have 11.5 acres of land in Grantham. I got plenty of spare land that I can build a pyrolysis plant. So that's it's a good thing. So, and everyone said, well, we're living in Dubai on a beach. Life is great. Why the hell do you want to come to Grantham in the middle of nowhere? Well, primarily because Vaculug was there, so we had to go there. But more importantly, I think we managed to acquire a great bunch of people, a great team to join the family. And it's unbelievable when you're in these small towns. The fabric of the society is kind of woven in with the company. We are, I think, one of the largest employers in Grantham after the National Health Service, which is pretty much the government in the UK. And people are genuinely passionate about business. They want it to succeed. Now, the cynics would say because they've got nowhere else to go, so they have to make it succeed. But fine, whatever. They're passionate. They're there. We have loyalty, dedication. I mean, I've walked around the factory. There are 3 of my employees that are 40 plus years with the company. We have people who are 3rd generation. We have 1, I believe, 4th generation in the company. A 1/3 of our Vaculug family have been with us over 20 years. And that's, for me, is an amazing thing. Just to acquire that alone is amazing. We believe in part of family and family values. And for me, that's a wonderful thing to have in old, declining industry under pressure, whatever you want to call it. So, and the last thing was, well, look at you. Why the hell are you investing in Lincolnshire, in retreading, in an industry where everybody voted for people like you to get out? This wonderful thing called Brexit in the UK. So, point 1, I'm British, so they voted for you guys to get out, not me, right? So just to be clear. Secondly, the UK has been my home for many, many years, right? I was at boarding school at rugby. Yes, we invented the game. Went on to Oxford, and it provided me a great education. And I genuinely believe if you're a British citizen today, it is your responsibility to go back and invest in the country, because the country needs you. Not because of leading the EU or not leading the EU. Frankly, I think Brexit is just a wake-up call that the UK has serious problems. It's got nothing to do with Europe. The UK has its own issues, whether it's healthcare, whether it's providing equal opportunities for all. Lincolnshire is a country where people did vote in droves for Brexit. I think 70% of our Vaculug family voted for Brexit. But I genuinely believe, and this is one of the driving forces for my investing back in the UK and moving back to the UK, is saying, well, you know what? It is our responsibility as responsible British citizens to invest in the country. Now, they say if you do good for people and things, the universe does good for you, right? So in my case, the universe paid me cash, because pre-Brexit the dollar was 1.5. I acquired Vaculug at 1.3. You do the maths on what my Brexit discount was worth. I'm going to leave this to questions now. Thank you very much for listening.